Hi everyone, just thought I'd do a video since it's been a little while. I'm feeling better than I was, to be honest. It's still going to be a while before I do anything regular, because my just health isn't really there anyway. But I've been considering literally just today really is just to use the hobbies to help with my mental health, particularly the role playing games themselves. And that is to try to get behind the GM screen. For me, that's going to be hard because of the fatigue and because of my health anyway. But it's something I really would like to do. I really would like to get back behind the GM screen with anxiety, the mental health and everything else. It's not so easy to do so, and that is a shame. But I am looking at Terminator RPG at the moment. I'm getting to the halfway point. Hopefully, I'll break the halfway this week. Bit of a slow at the moment because of everything that's going on, but hopefully, I can quicken the pace with things because I really would like to run again. The only real experience I've got is more fantasy, more D&D type games. I've done a little bit of Call of Cthulhu and a little bit of sci-fi, but not much. So I want to really gain the experience with these other games, definitely. And I've got plenty of games. Literally, you can just see some of the games that I've got, as you can see. Go along it. It's 40k. Oh, blimey. There's a fair bit there, plenty of others dotted about, and yeah, I just feel that if, because it's been 5 years anyway, and that's also the problem, things being literally half a decade ago since I ran. The last game I ran didn't go exactly like I would have liked, and I could have done better, I felt, and that was back in 2019. Not all the games I ran, I got to run. The one that I really was disappointed in not being able to run because of just depression and just stress and just wasn't feeling well was the Judge Dredd RPG. But hopefully one day I can run that as well. But if I did that, even if it's once every 4 to 6 weeks for about 4 hours or whatever, you can just play the game, forget about all your troubles, be with some really good friends, and just forget about everything for that time period. And I have noticed that people are using it more to improve your mental health. I've noticed stories through Facebook, YouTube, and stuff. About things. I believe even in Bristol, it has been used to improve things. So that is my intention, is to do just that. And I would like to start soon, but it's just fatigue. I need to get some more energy to be able to do so, because that's the frustrating thing, not having the energy to run games is just so frustrating. And then there's fear of running a game after 5 years, particularly with new people as well. Mind you, I should be a little bit more used to that, seeing that I was doing the expo games, even though I only got round one at a time. I was still doing that. I haven't done that in a few years now, but maybe one day. At the moment, I'm priced out of going because the cost with the hotel and everything else is just so pricey now. It's sort of like I've seen it and thinking sometimes you go on holiday and it's cheaper for a week than it is to go to there, and that's a shame. But I'm hoping to make the Dragon Days maybe whenever that's going to start up, and the Dragon Meet, which I've been reading the Dice Man, and I didn't realise that Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone created Dragon Meat, And that's the reason why I keep seeing them down there, because it is theirs. And I didn't know that. That's something I didn't know. There's quite a bit of information I was finding quite interesting about how Games Workshops started off, and just going through the first games, the first few games day, Owl and Weasel and all that. And I was never a part of that because I only came into gaming in '84 and Games Workshop. I seen the magazine a year or so, about a year before. I only really started attending December '89, so even though that is a long time ago. But yeah, that was pretty interesting stuff. But yeah. My hope is to start running again. I don't know if there's any tips or anything about really just being able to do this without getting too anxious, without panic attacks or anything. I've never had one as such, but I don't want to be in a position where things ain't so good with my health. I want to be able to run and be happy. And my enthusiasm has gone a bit, and that's a shame because I really do enjoy it. I swear I was born with the dice in my hand, and I'm going to leave with the dice in my hand. So yeah, I'd love to do it because at the moment with my own, even though it's improved from December, it's still not great. My health isn't that great at all, to be honest. The all over body pain, and got toothache now with rest in peace NHS dentists because they have apparently been destroyed. I cannot find one. That's frustrating. There's only supposed to be one in Bristol and they won't reply, so I'll sod them, to be honest. Yeah, but that is a shame. But yeah, my health isn't great. My health is still not great. I'm having CBT, so that's helping a little bit. But yeah, I'm just trying to focus on getting myself better to be able to enjoy life again because I don't really enjoy it. I endure it more than enjoy it, and that's a shame. It's great to see some fairly new friends actually. It's just been great that I can be in touch with people and on a fairly regular basis. And I've grown distant with some, but it's not because I've fallen out with anyone. It's a bit awkward when you're living quite far away and then everything else that's happened around you, and it does get quite hard to maintain friendship, especially when these friends are distracted with other things. They've got another gaming group up together, maybe other things they're doing, and it's just time on both sides, and I think that is a shame. It's a shame that things have drifted a bit with some people, but I'm telling you, I mean, I've got nothing against anyone, even if I have criticised a little bit of criticism with things in the past. It's nothing super personal or anything, and I would never, even if I did criticise anyone on here, it would be not with malice or or anything else, maybe a little bit of frustration, but that's it. Mind you, I might have more handier just to talk, to be honest, but anyway, it is a shame that I don't see some of my older friends more. There's one friend I haven't seen in quite a few years, and that's a shame. And I've been in touch with one friend after not seeing for a few years, and that's been great to see him and that. And yeah, that's been all great. But to be honest, I'm just gonna focus more on the gaming side of things. Try to get some of that together. I might do the Story Master Tells as a start. There's a Warlock Forest Up Mountain, a role play game that I could play. I might be able to do a dungeon crawl at some point. And I got so many games now that I'd like to get round to more and more, not just the D&D or 5th Ed or anything else. Just want to try different games and get the hang of these different games, to be able to get the hang of running them like the Terminator RPG, getting the hang of the rules and being able to run it quite well, which I don't find so easy at times. But still, so with wargaming, due to the last time I played, which was a 6 mil World War II game, I wasn't well anyway. My concentration was really poor. I was making simple mistakes, like literally putting the tanks and stuff straight through a village or a town, and really you besiege it, and forgetting to put the men on the transport, and the dice tower being the opposite way from where I should need it. My head wasn't into the game. My head wasn't into anything. I mean, and I was quite, with anxiety and everything else, it just wasn't so easy for me. And to be honest, until I can sort out my concentration and focus problems, I don't want to play much in the way of wargaming until I can improve that aspect of things. So I'm more on my game, more focused and more sharp and aware of things, and aware, knowing exactly what tactics to use, and not completely losing my concentration that I have done in the past. I can make you look like an idiot, you're stupid, and honestly, with what I'm doing with this, writing this war game, I'm definitely not stupid, but it does give out that impression I am, and I'm not, and I've been fighting this for many years because of my anxiety, because of everything else. It can look like that, but definitely not, because I'm a lot more brighter, intelligent than people give me credit for. It's just a shame that sometimes you get the image that is undeserved. In my case, definitely undeserved because of my anxiety and everything else. People can think worse of me than who I really am, or probably don't understand me, or don't really know me, and I think it's a shame. I think it's definitely a shame, because I'm a good man, a good decent man. I won't wish harm on anyone or anything, and honestly, once you get to know me, I mean, I'm good to be around. I'm fairly dependable, and I do have a humorous side as well, particularly with RPGs, role playing games, definitely. And I do love my gaming a lot, and there's still more for me in the future. So even though I still feel burned out with the convention, running a convention, which sadly now gone out of my hands, but still, I'm still, helping with the running of the club, which is my creation. Now I've got this war game that I know is going to succeed, because I got to think it's going to succeed rather than fail. I'm working out the bare bones, getting it random notes, so not doing it in order. Then I got the work of getting it more in order, and then getting it more fleshed out, and that, and getting help with the writing, because I'm not particularly great with the stories or anything else. Even though I want to really improve my creative writing, I find it hard, and to be honest, the courses and that cost money, so I don't know what to do to improve my writing, but I keep trying. I know I did the English course, and got a D, partly because of health again. I could have got a C if my health wasn't so bad, and with the anxiety and that, but never mind. But yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do. Hoping to get more gaming done. Got a lot more RPGs to get, even though I got to find places really get them stored away. But eventually I'll get a garage, and probably even play some gaming there, because all I would need is really just the outside of it, and then one table in the middle, and be able to play quite quietly without disturbing people too much, hopefully. That's the long-term plan. And the only other thing, I'm considering it as, and I won't be doing it commission-based straight off But painting and selling things on, so just painting up stuff and just selling things on. And for me, it's sort of like this is the way I've set it. About £24 of probably a day. Probably go down as to 20. That's just profit on it. The middle ground would be 40, which I'd be very happy with. As 40, 80, 120, 160, 200. And then there's the top end for me, which is I'll be happy with 60, 60, 120, 180, 240, 300. For that, that's more than enough. Anything over that's a massive bonus to me, but that's what I'm considering. I'm just not confident with commission stuff or anything else, but it's something I'm considering. Considering my painting skills have really improved over the last 5 years or so, and even though I don't feel I'm quite 100% there, I'm very close to being that real pro level. Probably more of an expert, probably just below pro, but I'm definitely up there being really really great with my painting. Just gotta learn some more stuff, get some more different paints. I won't be getting the quick paints or anything else like that, not yet anyway. Just hasn't got an interest for me at the moment, but maybe one day. I'm focused more on the army painter paints and rather than Games Workshop because it's too expensive. I looked at the veteran guardsman for Kill Team. It was over 60 quid for the paints for them, which I just thought, oh Christ, that's a lot of money to paint them. So I'd love to find out actually if people can do this, right? Get a miniature, paint it up, but use less paints, but get the same result as what you see in a glossy magazine, or a very similar result, but using a lot less paints with doing so. That I would be interested in seeing. But anyway, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Haven't done any computer game. Hopefully do a bit more of that. Busy with the dog. Dog's a bit handful at the moment, but I'm definitely going to get more reading done. As I said, reading through the Dice Man, a Terminator game. I'm getting almost halfway through. I can read it through properly, and then I'll really start to learn the mechanics and that, and really start to get closer to running. Probably at big. But I'm hoping April time, but I'll have to see. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully, in a couple of months, and get out more, get out in the fresh air and picnics, and just out in the warmer weather, and maybe even do a bit of camping, and maybe some role playing with the camping as well. But we'll see. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Thanks for anyone that's reached out, and the kind words and everything. But till next time.